Pear Deck lessons can be presented in a student-paced mode. What this is good for is outside of the class instruction or asynchronous instruction, where students move through the presentation and answer the questions on their own volition and at their own pace. There is capabilities for live monitoring of student performance and progress by the teacher as well. So during our times of distance learning, this will be a great option for delivering online instruction to your students, where content is embedded, and then also the checks for understanding, the formative assessments, the prompting to critically think about the content that students are viewing on here can become a reality when you use self-paced mode for student learning using Pear Deck. To present a student-paced Pear Deck lesson, we're going to start by clicking Start Lesson, the green button within the Pear Deck add-on. It's going to give us an option for instructor-paced or student-paced. We're going to select student-paced. We'll receive our notification for our dashboard. It's going to remind us that this session is in student-paced mode. There's a couple things we can do at this point. We can copy this link. This is a direct link to this self-paced Pear Deck lesson. So you can provide this link in any way that you want to your students. Additionally, you can immediately share it to Classroom if you're using Google Classroom. Another option is to send students to joinpd.com and then have them manually enter this code. The quickest thing, if you're going to not use Classroom, maybe just to copy this link and provide them with this link. As soon as they click this link, they're automatically logged in to the Pear Deck. So go ahead and choose your option here. Once we're taken to the student interface we see here, we see that it reminds us that it's student-paced at the bottom here. We can stop student-paced at any time, so we'll stop students from being able to progress on their own through this lesson. We have a couple other options over here. For our perspective, we can make ours full screen. Again, we can turn it off. When we're ready to end this session, so students can no longer complete it, you can end the session here. And again, as prior videos have dictated, you can find this session back at peardeck.com, and you can turn it on there again if you want to, or manipulate it in the way that you see fit. While students are completing work, for my teacher dashboard, I can see that I'm waiting for responses here. Now I see that there's been some responses, so I can see the responses of students that are here. If I'm wanting to know which students are actually completing these activities, I can go ahead and at the top right, it says how many students are in 1 out of 3 total have joined. So if I click here, I see that these are the students that have joined this. Chris Williams is currently joined, and he's active. Eric Brown and GUHST Tech were once joined, but have now exited the activity and are not working on it right now. At any point, they can go back and they can enter the activity by clicking the same link that they used originally when I shared it to them for them to access the self-paced. If at any time I need to block a user from this because of inappropriate behavior, I can block them from the session and they can no longer access the content even while everybody else can access it in the course. I can show and hide responses down here. So I can hide responses, show responses. And again, the teacher is only going to see this in a student-paced mode. Students are going to see only their responses. I can choose to show responses. So if I click show responses, students can now see responses of others. And then I can hide responses. So just like in the traditional teacher-facing model, where I can show and hide responses for my students to see, I can do that in self-paced as well. And I can click through any of these and I can see Chris Williams has done this here. Again, if I want to show responses to the whole group, maybe after everyone's completed it or after a certain amount of time and you want to give feedback to your students on how they're doing, or if you want them to see other student responses that will be anonymized, you can go ahead and show responses at any time. And again, when you're ready to end the lesson, you can end it here. So we'll go ahead and end our lesson. We do have the option, yes, I'm sure. We want to end the session completely, or we can leave the session and allow students to keep working at their own rate.